What up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino, and I'm sitting here right now at 4:26 in the morning. It's 4:26 in the morning, and this is the time of night where I really just love because it's quiet. I feel like I have the whole universe to myself. No noise, no cars, no people, and for decades, for me, this time is always the best time and the most creative time for me because I can be totally laser focused on what it is I'm trying to create with no outside distractions. Which brings me to the concept, to the title, the subject of this video, and that is what people refer to as writer's block. And I get asked this question all the time. People will say, what do I do to alleviate writer's block? Or they'll ask me, how do you deal with writer's block? What should I do? And a lot of times they feel like my response and my answer is sarcastic, trying to be sarcastic, because if they mention writer's block, I'll go, what is that? Even though I'm well aware of what they're talking about, the reason why I respond like that is because I'm of the belief and the knowledge that writer's block is a self-created concept created by an individual who has deprived themselves of knowledge and feeding their mind constantly or consistently with information that will cause their mental ceiling to constantly raise. And what do I mean by that? You have the brain and you have the mind. The brain is a physical, material, finite piece of matter. Now, if you cut your head open right now, you could actually take the brain out, hold the brain, look at the brain, see the brain. The mind, on the other hand, is a metaphysical entity that is not seen. However, that which the mind conceives eventually manifests itself in a physical form. The mind, the human mind, has the capacity to hold infinite information. There is no limit to the amount of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that can be poured into the mind. And the brain is, of course, the conduit of all that, the holder of all that. So why am I saying all that? I'm saying all that to say that if you are suffering from what is referred to as writer's block, all it means is that you are not consistently pouring information into your mind that will allow you to constantly be creative. Constantly be creative. You're not observing what's going on around you. You're not thinking. You're not reading. You're not studying. And when you fail to do that, all of the things that you know and that you have in your mind up until that point, at some point in your creative process, you have exhausted every element, every component of what you had, and you're not adding anything else to it. It's like a tree or a plant. When you constantly apply the nutrients to that soil, the water, the sunlight, whatever elements that are necessary to make that plant thrive, then that plant continues to thrive perpetually. But when you neglect that, then you have put an expiration date on the existence of that life form. So now you put an expiration date, you put a limit, you put a ceiling on your creativity. So now you're just hitting your head on that ceiling. But the more you add, you raise that ceiling, and you constantly chasing it. You feel what I'm saying? You're constantly chasing it. That's where you want to get. So, long story short, the secret to beating that so-called writer's block myth is to continue to feed yourself and understand that if you are a rapper, a poet, you write novels, books, any form of literature, whatever it is, you sing, you write plays, anything that constitutes writing and creativity, you have to feed that. You got to feed that giant, which is your mind, and don't let it die out. See? And once you begin to do that, you'll see the world a little differently. See, a real artist, they don't see the world the same way that everybody else sees it. They see a concept in everything. It's like, what's this? Oh, this is a Sharpie. You can write a whole song about this. What's this? Oh, it's a cup. You can write a whole song about a cup. I got some circular patterns on this curtain right here. I can write a whole song about that and be creative with it and make it dope. You have to practice that. Practice your craft. Get better at it. Trial and error. But you should never ever have it in your mind in your life that I got writer's block. If you're not coming up with nothing, then that means you're not adding anything. And you cannot put out that which does not exist in you. I can't eat a hamburger and throw up a pizza if I never ate the pizza. If a person catches a cold, you just don't wake up one day and say, oh, I got a cold, that's just part of life. No, at some point in time, you were exposed to that germ, that infection that entered your body and manifested itself in the form of this cold. That example is just to say that if you are speaking about something in your songs and in your music and in your writing, then it's something that at some point entered into you, or you learned it, or you saw it, you witnessed it, you studied it, and now you've taken it in, you processed it, and you're giving it back out in your creative way, in your individual creative way. And that's the beauty of life. That's how the Creator set this thing up. He gave us that individualism to where 5 of us can be in a room and be asked to write about the same paragraph. We can all read the exact same paragraph, exact same words, but we can all write about it in 5 different ways based on our own personalities and based on how we process it as individuals. So again, there's no such thing as writer's block. I'm killing that, destroying that in your mind right now. I don't want to hear nobody else talk about that. Ask me about that. If you can't think of nothing, observe what's going on around you and start reading different things. Read books that you may not even picture yourself or imagine yourself even wanting to read. Watch a documentary. Do something to feed your mind, because that's what it thrives on. It thrives on, you can't allow yourself to become stagnant in your thought process, because you'll just dry out. A plant with no water is a future dead plant. So I hope that helped y'all out. I'll be doing a 10K Q&A when I get to 10,000 subscribers. I'll be doing a big Q&A, so y'all get your questions ready. Don't put your questions below this one, but just get them ready, and we'll do the 10K Q&A. We about 1,600 subs away from 10,000. I appreciate y'all, all the love, and just for y'all rocking with me. You know, we small, but we growing. And y'all make sure y'all subscribe, comment, like, and holler at your big homie, man. It's your boy K-Rino. One love. And it's 4 in the morning.